Jon Jones keeps thinking about Stipe Miocic, even when he's making love with his partner. Ahead of his first heavyweight title defense at UFC 295 against Miocic, who is widely regarded as the greatest heavyweight of all time, Jones talked about the anxiety involved. And I quote, "The way I look at anxiety, it just means that you care about the outcome and how you perform, and how you're perceived." The next thing Jones said got a little not safe for work. Quote, "I feel like when you get to a place when you don't feel anything is probably when you should hang it up. At this point, I still get really nervous, man. I have nightmares about my opponents. I could be balls deep in and Stipe will cross my mind." Jones made the comments during a recent appearance on the Overdogs podcast. The original video has since been removed. Moving on, Ronda Rousey is hoping to make a return to MMA at UFC 300. But before we dive deeper into the story, please subscribe to Takedown MMA and turn on those notifications. Thank you. Ronda Rousey is one of the biggest stars in combat sports. After impressing at the Olympics, she transitioned to MMA and won the Strikeforce and the UFC bantamweight titles before joining the world of professional wrestling. But it seems like Rousey's days in the WWE might be coming to an end. A close confidant of Rowdy Ronda told Daily Mail, and I quote, "She just had a match at SummerSlam and is looking to wind down her time and commitments with the WWE. And she's now focusing on potentially making a run to have one last fight in the UFC and compete at UFC 300 when that presents itself sometime next year." The source also added that Rousey is at a current crossroads in her life and career as she's looking to see what she might want to do next. Rousey last fought at UFC 207, where she was battered by Amanda Nunes. But now that the Lioness has retired, Rousey's return to MMA can't be ruled out. Several fighters, including Juliana Pena and Raquel Pennington, would love to welcome the legend back to the octagon. Moving on, Dillon Danis' crude video that appears to show Logan Paul's fiancée, Nina Agdal, making a series of sexual remarks, has garnered over 100 million views in less than a day on Twitter, which is now known as X, of course. Ahead of their boxing match, which is scheduled to take place in October, Danis has been mercilessly trolling Paul by sharing photos and videos of his fiancée with her previous boyfriends. Danis is, of course, an honorary graduate of Conor McGregor's School of Psychological Warfare, so his Twitter attacks don't come as a surprise to anyone. But the fact that he's gone viral proves that people are liking his shenanigans.
By the way, I'm very proud of myself. This is the longest I've ever gone without sex since I started. Obviously, it's driving me crazy. I am struggling. I need penis inside of me. ASAP. Like, all I want is like a big fat sausage just destroying my body. So, if any of you guys know a good dick that doesn't have STDs on it, I'll take it. Right here.
Here's another Danis tweet. Logan Paul is obviously not happy. He thinks Danis has crossed the line, and he'll make McGregor's buddy eat his tweets come fight night.
I think he has gone too far, yeah. It's not affected me, no, because when I entered this fight, I knew Dillon was a scumbag. I didn't think he'd take it as far as he did. But, you know, actions have consequences. I think he's going to get what's coming to him. I think the people online are speaking for me. Me and my girl don't have to defend ourselves or try to prove our love for the world. Like, my fiance is a angel. He's twisted the narrative of her relationship with long-term boyfriends, getting paparazzi'd over the course of her adult life. And he's good. He's a good Twitter troll. But again, he gonna pay for it.
What do you make of Dillon Danis' pre-fight antics? Moving on, Sean Strickland has pissed the Brazilian jiu-jitsu community off with his recent comments. Ahead of his middleweight title fight against Israel Adesanya at UFC 293, Strickland revealed that he had been working on his wrestling and his jiu-jitsu, but he thinks the disciplines, particularly BJJ, is bullshit, and it doesn't really work in fights.
Didn't you have a black belt?
Yeah, I got one of those.
In jiu-jitsu?
Yeah, I got one a while ago.
Yeah.
Doesn't work.
It does.
Doesn't work, you guys. Jiu-jitsu don't work. Don't work. Yeah.
That's good to know.
Yeah, it's in my trunk somewhere in the black belt. I don't know, I lost my gi. I don't wear it anymore.
Former UFC and reigning one championship flyweight title holder Demetrius Johnson believes it's easier to win a title in MMA than in boxing. For more than half a decade, Mighty Mouse ruled the UFC flyweight division, beating one contender after another and piling up nearly a dozen title defenses. In 2019, he moved to one championship, where he continues to dominate. For him, MMA definitely is easy because he's simply on another level. He is a perfect fighter, but there are also those who are one-trick ponies, yet they manage to reach the top. In boxing, that's not the case, according to Johnson.
Say that mixed martial arts is the easiest sport to become a champion in, because when you fight boxing, it's boxing. Every person you fight in boxing is going to be good at boxing. Everybody you fight in kickboxing is going to be good at kickboxing. When you do mixed martial arts, you're going to have people who have significant big holes in them, right? You have a guy like Alex Pereira, he's 6-1, now he's 7-1. He's became a world champion in mixed martial arts. They can have no wrestling experience and still become a world champion. You look at Brock Lesnar, he became a world champion in mixed martial arts and he had no stand-up experience whatsoever. So that's why I say mixed martial arts is the easiest sport to become a world champion, because you can have deficiencies and still become a world champion. In boxing, kickboxing, you can't have any deficiencies. You have to be a good boxer in order to become a world champion. You just have to.
Do you guys agree with Demetrius Johnson? Is Tony Ferguson putting his life in danger by continuing to compete in MMA? Ferguson's former foe, Josh Thompson, pleads El Cucuy to ride into the sunset, especially now that he's riding a 6-fight losing streak, with his most recent loss coming at the hands of Bobby Green.
You have to take a good hard look at yourself in the mirror and go, this is coming to an end real quick. It's going to come sooner than you think. And if it doesn't come to an end real quick, there's a whole, and you'll notice it within a couple years of you being retired. And I'm saying this directly to Tony, is that you're going to notice things in your brain. You're going to notice things in the way you talk to people. You're going to notice things in the way you talk to your wife, the way you talk to your kids, the way you handle yourself. You need to have a reality check.
Ferguson has no plans of retiring anytime soon. In fact, he thinks he still has a title run in him, although most people in the MMA community beg to differ. Should Tony Ferguson retire? What are your thoughts on the former interim UFC lightweight champion? Gilbert Burns believes Khamzat Chimaev will be in a world of trouble if he fails to secure a takedown against Paulo Costa in their middleweight title eliminator at UFC 294. Having faced Chimaev at UFC 273, Burns understands his capabilities better than most, and he thinks the Chechen Swede will have a lot of fun if he manages to secure takedowns. However, Burns expects a close fight.
I think Khamzat will come with a lot of pressure to try to take Costa down. If he's able, it's going to be a big problem for Costa. But if Costa defended, he can get away and use the striking, it's going to be a long night for Khamzat. I think it's a very close fight and it will be decided on the clinch. If Khamzat can take him down, Khamzat wins. But if Costa can defend it and use the striking, then Costa wins. So very close fight.
Who do you think will win? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. To stay up to date with the latest happenings in the world of mixed martial arts and boxing, please subscribe to Takedown MMA and turn on those notifications. Thank you for your continued love and support, and we'll see you in the next one.